I've got a garage full of projects here. Every one of these cars is demanding something from me. I need to have a think and see how I feel about them and what's next on the list. It's January 2026. Happy New Year, folks. And I've decided I need to take stock of what we've got in the garage and what needs to happen. And that starts with a bit of a discussion, really, I suppose. Starting with this Fiesta. So, what I've kind of come to the realization just from doing body work, I don't like body work. I don't enjoy it. It's tedious, kind of boring, and demands an awful lot of time. There's three things that I've got in demand here. There's time, money, and headspace. This at the moment is not costing me any money. It's costing me time and costing me headspace. And I suppose I need to kind of figure out how I'm going to proceed and where I'm going to kind of get that headspace from. And eventually it's going to start costing a little bit of money as well when I start kind of buying a few bits for it and stuff like that as well. But that will come with time. The garage is freezing, by the way, so yeah, you'll have to excuse the fact that the heaters are on and they're only scratching the surface. But yeah, the Fiesta is kind of there, taking up shop space, and I got it as part exchange from a Beetle, as you probably well know if you've been following the channel. And I do think it's cool. I do like the car. I prefer the mechanical side of things though, so I'm really looking forward to getting into that end of things and then being able to do things like buying new door cards and fitting them and seeing the transformation that kind of stuff goes with. But the bodywork really, I do worry as well that I don't have the skills that I need to kind of turn this car around well enough that I'm actually going to be happy about it. So I suppose that's just going to come with time, isn't it? We're just going to find out as time goes on. But it is cool, isn't it? MGBs hold a special place in my heart. I was brought home from the maternity hospital when I was born in a white 1971 MGB Roadster. So I love MGs. I've always loved MGs. This one is no exception. I actually bought this so that myself and my dad could use it. He loves them, and I mean he's hugely instrumental in getting me into classic cars in actual fact, so thanks for that, Dad. Never short on a few ways to spend money anyway, that's for sure. But this one here, I knew when I bought it had a bit of rust on the rear passenger side sill, and that was a couple of years ago. But unfortunately, time is ticking away and it is not going to get any better of its own accord, so it's going to need something or other done to it at some point in time. So I'm hoping that it will weather another summer. But realistically, what I need to do is I need to get it up on the ramp and I need to actually have a poke around underneath and see, is it actually at a point where it's bordering on unsafe, or is it a case where we can still kind of use away on it? Because mechanically it's perfect. I mean, I would drive this car to South Africa tomorrow if I had to, knowing full well that it would stand a good chance of making the journey. I mean, it really doesn't give any trouble mechanically, but like all good British cars, they're water soluble, bodywork by Disprin, and they tend to dissolve in the rain and salted roads. That is why this car is safely tucked up in the garage in the winter here in Ireland. And it will remain here until probably April anyway, and we may start recommissioning it then at that stage or reassessing the situation. So remains to be seen. But yeah, as I said, I love it. I think it's the epitome of 70s cool, the orange seats with the brown bodywork and everything like that. I mean, it is a cool car, but question I suppose is, does it get my time or money or resources or headspace, or do I move it on and change it for something else? Who knows? I suppose we have to make that decision at some point or another, don't we? Let's just start the MG for the sake of it. I haven't started it in a while. Come on. Hey. Not a bother to her. So, on to the next car in the garage. My 1303S Beetle. I have never owned a car for as long as I've owned this one, by quite a long margin. I've had this car for 16 years now, actually. It would be 16 years in actual fact. I collected my now wife for our second date in it, back when it was silver, and headed off to Powerscourt in it. Lots of good memories in this car, and it has served me well as a daily driver for many years as well, and then kind of ended up as a second car, and then it needed some body work, and that's when the wheels fell off, because I brought it to a guy who promised the sun, moon and stars, whose name was Stephen, and he absolutely butchered it on me, and I got the car back from him in an unfinished state. And before that point, before I'd even gotten the bodywork done, I was already teetering on the balance between do I sell it and get it and replace it with something else, or do I invest the money in getting it done up and getting it over the line and restoring it to its former glory, because the rust was starting to set in. And I decided on the latter, and getting the bodywork done. Now, I'm kind of not sure really. Like, how can I put this? I'm glad I have it, but it has taken so much from me to get it back to this point, and it still needs more. I'm still not happy with the fuel injection system. I still don't trust it, and that's a big thing. I don't trust that I could just get into it and drive it. And I feel like the EFI kit promised the sun, moon and stars and delivered on very little, partly because of the fact that it's not right for the engine. I mean, there's too many mismatched variables, and you try and find yourself overcompensating for things in the tune and all this kind of stuff as well, and just fighting with it to get it to work. Now, I also feel like the guy I brought it down to do the tuning in it, he's used to tuning supercars and high performance race cars and stuff like that. I just feel it's my own belief. Now I might be wrong on this, I might be off the mark. I just feel like he saw, it's only a Beetle. I mean, Jesus, like how good does it need to be? And he kind of spent more time sort of saying that it's good enough than I would have done, because I don't think it's good enough. I really don't. Like, it's a bugger to start when it's cold, and it's also a bugger to start when it's hot. I had to tweak some of the tuning parameters in the kind of 2,500 RPM rev range after the fact. Now, he had it on a dyno and everything, but I got more excuses than anything else about that as to why that was the case. The ports are too big, the intake runners are too short, there's no balance tube, all of this kind of stuff. It's EFI. If it worked with carburetors, it should work with EFI. So I have it. I've gotten other people's opinions on that as well, who know well enough about tuning that they think that that's a load of codswallop. But jury's out for me on that one, to be honest with you. The other thing as well is it needs a new alternator pulley. For some reason, it shredded the old one and uses a dynamo belt instead of an alternator belt. I think it's because I'm using the sand seal pulley, so I need to throw I got the pulley. I have a new pulley. I got it from VW Spares, but the belt is the belt was wrong. The belt is too long, so I have to get a different belt. It's that type of thing you're always up against. So that's the kind of time and the headspace and the money all combined into one, if you know what I mean. But I'll get there in the end. We'll get the pulley sorted out, and then I'll have to try and get back into the tweaking of the tuning parameters. And if I can find somebody who can just get it over the line and get it 100%, and it's like 90% there, if I can get it to 100%, and it should be 100%, I would do it. But I just don't want to have to do it. I've done enough with it. I just feel like I just want to get out and use it again. And like, when it behaves itself, it is a lovely little car to drive again now, and so we're getting there. But even the bodywork, there's some areas on it that I look at it and I'm like, oh, like the way the passenger door is, all that kind of stuff. It's just not right, and it's never going to be right until I throw the resources at it. So that's kind of where we're at with the Beetle. But would I sell it tomorrow? If somebody swap me a DeLorean for it, yes, absolutely. So if you've got a DeLorean and you want the 1303S Beetle, drop me a message. Now, that's wishful thinking, folks. So the last thing on the list is the MX-5. The MX-5 is not my car, but it's in my garage and it's under my care. It is belonging to my long-suffering wife, who puts up with all my bullshit and flights of fancy, and she loves it, but it needs a respray, and I'm still waiting on somebody to come back to me who has promised to do the respray for me. And when it gets that, I think it'll be a very smart little car, but I'm still waiting, and we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And hopefully he'll get the finger out and actually decide, you know what, I don't mind painting an MX-5 today now. So Ross, get that car over to me. Let's get it done for you. So up until that point, then we're just going to have to deal with the slightly ropey looking paint job that's on the passenger door, and the kind of rough paint on the bonnet and everything like that. But it drives well, and having done a lot of the work I've done, things like the replacing the cylinder heads and putting in the head with the hydraulic tappets, making sure that it was actually right for the car, has transformed it, and it does drive really, really well. It starts on the button. Got a lot of the bits of interior trim that were missing for it, and really spruced up the interior a lot. So that's a big thing. The roof is leaking though, just at the passenger side quarter light. So need to try and do something with the rubber. I think it's kind of it's bunched up in one place, and it's just the water's just cascading into it when it rains. So that's one of the reasons why it's in the garage and is not in use in the winter. It's just it was getting mouldy inside when it was outside, so couldn't have that. But it's kind of it is definitely a keeper. I think, yeah, when we get the paintwork done on it and everything like that, our feelings on it will be an awful lot more positive. It's sort of, it's kind of hanging nearly there, you know, and but it is a lovely car. And I'll tell you one thing: every car enthusiast should have an MX-5 at least once, because they are great crack to drive. They're great fun to drive. They really are. They were touted as being the kind of the worthy successor to the MGB, and having both, I can say yes, it absolutely is. The MGB is great fun to drive, and the Mazda is, and kind of for the same reasons. They're very kind of pointed, involved driving experience where you really do feel connected to the road, and that's something that's missing from a lot of modern cars. You just don't get that anymore. It's kind of one of the things I feel people go on about EVs as being kind of soulless appliances, and I think realistically it's not necessarily EVs that people have the problem with. It's what modern cars have become, and EVs are just being used as the focal point for that, you know, that criticism. I could criticize an EV for being soulless as much as I could criticize any other modern soulless appliance, Eurobox of a car or whatever, and it's just the way they are. These are the type of things to put you back in contact with the road, though, and you know, it's a lot of fun, and very, very easy to work on if you're kind of an aspiring kind of petrol head who wants to do a bit of spannering or learn to do a bit of spannering. Very, very easy little car to work on. So definitely something worth considering if you were ever in the market for a kind of a modern classic two-seater roadster. Definitely something to look at. So that's where we are. And yes, it's the depths of winter in January. It's -3 degrees out, even with the heaters on in the garage. It's cold in here. And to be honest, I'm going to go inside now, and I'm going to open a can of beer and sit by the stove that's lighting in the sitting room. And I'm going to enjoy that. And I'll see you in a future video. Thanks for watching.